Everyone wants a slice of the silver pie, but there's simply not enough pie to go around, which is a problem. Actually, it's a huge problem, given that we're advancing so rapidly in this new digitally advancing technological era, trying to fight global warming, climate change, so we're flooding the planet with satellites and solar panels and EVs. Even military and aerospace would be useless without silver. Silver makes weapons, weapons win wars, so silver wins wars. The question is, what happens when there's not enough silver to go around? Imagine Elon Musk coming out saying we have to cut back the production of Tesla because we don't have enough silver. Or Joe Biden saying zero net emissions by the year 2060 now. Push it back a couple decades because we don't have enough silver. It sounds crazy, but when I look at the alarming evidence about this silver shortage, it is crazy. Over 500 million ounce deficit in the last 3 years alone. Where are we gonna get it? And who's gonna get it first? Because the companies that get it first while it's still cheap will be the ones that outlast the others. No wonder why Elon Musk bought a silver mine. Not saying you should buy a silver mine too, but you better buy silver. Alright folks, welcome back. I put together an incredible video breaking down why silver has so much importance and its potential. If anyone is doubting or questioning or even just curious why you stack silver, show them this video. I promise by the end, they will be on board. It's not about you trying to prove yourself to someone else that you're not crazy or why you're doing it. It's about helping them also get on board as well, protecting their hard-earned money. I feel like some people are looking at it backwards. It's not you trying to prove, no, it's you helping. Every video I make, I'm trying to help people understand there's an alternative to the collapsing dollar and that their hard-earned money doesn't have to burn away in their bank accounts. That has been my mission since I made this channel on July 4th, 2015. I've been posting daily videos ever since. So if you want to support that, then click subscribe and click the bell so you get notified on a daily basis when my video goes live. I want to talk about something that's happening in the silver market right now that a lot of people are not aware of, and it's going to affect them directly, and I have a solution to that. We know that the COMEX vaults, the LBMA, and the LME, all their vaults are running dry. I can show you data in this video specifically. They even publicly came out and admitted it a couple years ago. It's starting to also impact the locals. You see how many people I get phone calls from and emails from saying their local coin shop is out of Eagles or out of this or that, or even online dealers. What do you think is going to happen when they get to the end of their product? They price it up. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. That's going to continue to start happening, especially as time goes forward and it's getting harder and harder and harder to find this stuff. Well, Miles Franklin, we have a direct source. We are one of the only few authorized dealers with the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint picked a handful of reliable dealers, trusted dealers, and we are one of them. So we won't have to raise the price up. We still can find boatloads of silver. Matter of fact, we covered 2 different $50 million orders over the past 2 years. Lady bought 900,000 Eagles, over 100,000 ounces in junk silver and gold. Andy pulled that off in 2 days. Nobody else on this earth could pull off that order because Andy has several different connections. He's the most well-respected, connected person in the silver market. So we don't have to raise prices as others do. Email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, if you want to build a business relationship, because I promise in the coming futures, your dealers you get from aren't going to be able to source it like we can. And if you build a relationship with me now, as a lot of people are, it's going to pay off. Now, you could also call me 330-485-6172 if you don't want to email. Either or, it works both ways. I will make sure you're taken care of. Now let's jump into this very important video explaining why silver is the new green. There's 2 articles that we are going to break down. I haven't showed the second one yet because I want it to be a surprise. It is very interesting. If you have any hopes of wondering how we might fix the silver shortage problem, well, this could be the answer, the second half of the video that we will go into in a second. And I've been researching this for several years now, but I've never talked about it much. I made maybe a few videos about it. Only true Silver Slayer fans would know. But if you're just an average person, you have no idea what I'm about to show, but it is mind-blowing what they are trying to do to fix the silver shortage? Take a few guesses if you want. So going back to silver is the new green, silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. It is perfect for the new green era. It is the only option we have. Most are aware the gold price is rising, but few probably know that the silver price has risen more. Same goes along with silver in 2020. Silver was the #1 performing asset in 2020, but nobody talked about it because it was silver. It gets underplayed. If it would have been like Amazon or Tesla stocks or Bitcoin, everyone would have talked about it, but it was silver. So you probably didn't know unless you watched my channel. This silver was the #1 performing asset on the market, or any market. So there's substantial interest in silver due to its growing use in energy transition. In the first part of a 2-part series, we investigate the demand and supply factors for silver to determine if its price can continue to rise. Most Aussie investors are aware the gold price has been on a tear in 2024. After all, for many years, gold companies have held special place in most Aussie investors' portfolios, but I'd wager substantially fewer are aware that another key precious metal has also been performing very strongly of late. Ironically, silver often takes second place to gold when it comes to headlines in financial press, but it regularly outperforms its yellow counterpart when macroeconomic and geopolitical factors combine to drive elevated demand for gold, similar to the prevailing backdrop. I am starting to see more media cover silver now, though. Before, it would be very hard for me to find, even just 1 or 2 articles a day to cover from my daily videos. And I've been doing this, remember, since July 4th, 2016. So I've seen the times of silver's popularity rising and falling, and only as of recently has media finally caught on, especially about the silver shortage. It was only me and a couple other people that ever talked about the silver shortage. It was like David Morgan, Ted Butler, Keith Neumeyer, Andy Schechtman, only a couple others. But recently, now everyone is onto it. So there's a key difference between the two precious metals, which could further push the performance equation further into silver's favor, where gold is still mainly used for jewelry, and as a store of value, silver has substantial and increasing industrial applications, right? Silver, and this might be something, if you are showing this video to someone who maybe doesn't understand why you like silver, I'm speaking to this person right now. When you're talking about something of value, it's what it can bring to the table. If you have something that is extremely useful, that can do things or help you with things, and then you have something else that kind of just sits around, doesn't do much, but it looks cool, which one in terms of value do you think is better? Which in terms of the word value, detach the word value from dollars, just look at the word value as what it can do. Which one do you think should be more valuable then? The one that can do things and actually help you with things, not the one that just looks cool. Well, comparing silver to gold, that's the exact case, except flipped. For some reason, gold is the one that is extremely valuable, even though silver is the one that is actually much more valuable. Just not valuable in dollars, but value as in what it can bring to the table. So silver is extremely undervalued, not even just compared to gold, but in terms of gold itself. Not just the gold to silver ratio, silver is more valuable than gold itself. So the energy transition from fossil fuels to renewable sources is perhaps the greatest challenge and opportunity facing science and industry, as well as financial markets which fund them, in our generation. According to the International Energy Agency, installed power capacity from solar photovoltaic or PV cells used in solar panels sources is set up to surpass that of coal by 2027, which could make it the largest contributor to the world's energy mix. Now, if we're talking about this happening, what does that mean? That means more solar panels, meaning more silver. But there's less silver. It actually, hundreds of millions of ounces each year are going red. Deficits. The average solar panel produced today uses about 20 grams, roughly 0.64 ounces of silver. Millions of panels are constructed each year, but to illustrate recent growth trends, one must consider data on solar PV capacity produced measured in gigawatts. In 2023, global installed solar PV capacity increased by 375 gigawatts, or 31.8%. The IEA is forecasting similar capacity growth each year for the rest of the decade. That is big. That is big news. Not only solar panels, we also have electric vehicles. There's about 50 grams of silver per EV. They're trying to cut it down to around 25 grams. Regardless, there's so many things, and now AI chips actually. Now the new BEVs and the way they are actually upgrading some of these EVs is going to require more silver in them. Because silver is just so useful that we can't do anything except use more of it to make our own applications more efficient. See, if silver was the focus of attention, then of course they wouldn't want to do this. But they're not putting silver first. They're saying, how can we make our EVs better? Oh, it takes more silver. Okay. See, this is where these companies are going to fall short. Elon Musk is a genius. Why? Because he said, screw finding a source and having to rely on them. Like Mike Maloney wrote an open letter to Elon Musk urging him to buy silver. He said, if you're not buying silver right now, you're screwed. Because you say you want to make this amount of Teslas by the year 2030. Well, if silver's $20 and you reach that target goal, if silver's $20 an ounce, you'd only have to pay about $600 million. But he's like, if you wait till silver is $100, you'd be paying 3 point something trillion dollars, and that's just Tesla alone. So you know what Elon did? He bought a silver mine. Said, screw the source, I am the source. It's a very smart move. So as we know in markets, but actually let me stop right there. Now just think of Elon, he's the mascot of this, but think of every other technology company. Elon is just an example to show the point I'm trying to make. Think about any other, a phone company, EV company, TV company, anything electric. Now, attach that to them having to source silver for the foreseeable future, but also when the price rises, what does that mean? Their cost of production will rise. Because if you have to buy, like Mike Maloney did the math, silver at $20, that's $600 million for your EV business. But when silver goes up to 100, that's trillions of dollars. That's a big difference. That's a game-changing difference in cost of production, meaning to make those costs back, they have to charge higher prices for said product. So, as we know in the markets, demand is only one side of the price equation. All the demand in the world cannot move the dial on the price if supply is sufficient to meet the demand, right? That's right. If you can meet the demand, no problem. On this point, there are also some interesting developing trends which may further support the price of silver in the future. According to a TD Securities research report titled Silver Squeeze, Can You Buy Into? The availability of silver soon might take a sharp downward turn. TD concedes that there are substantial reserves of silver held in both private and government vaults, as silver has historically been used as a store of value like gold. There is more than 810 million ounces of silver held in vaults, contends the broker, which represents about 3/4 of global silver inventories. However, as time progresses, the structural deficit we expect will continue to chip away from the stockpile. And actually, if there's 810 million ounces of silver in reserves, well, in the last 3 years alone, we are over 500 million ounces in the red, and that's not including military or aerospace that we don't incorporate in our annual numbers. So it's that these numbers aren't realistic. You can't even look at them with any type of rational thinking to try to determine what could happen on a year-to-year basis, let alone for the foreseeable future as they try to present that. I mean, here's But here's a chart right here. But how much silver is really freely available for purchase? And this is the point they're getting to, because there's registered, there's unregistered, there's segregated, there's non-segregated. It's not as black and white as you may think. So here's the LBMA silver vaults, free float, and then the dark gray silver ETFs, which is UK vaulted. Silver inventories peaked in late 2020 and have been declining steadily ever since. TD Securities cites an analysis from independent precious metals research consultancy Metals Focus, which suggests that global inventories of silver will have declined by as much as 770 million ounces from that peak by the end of 2024. Did you just hear what I said? Their global reserves have declined by 770 million ounces by the peak of 2024. Remember, the annual demand is 1.21 billion ounces. By this time, TD extrapolates that the free float of copper inventories, that is, silver actually likely available for purchase at any time, would have wound down to just about 311 million ounces of silver. The broker argues that such a level of availability would be critically low compared to the structural deficit in the market, demand versus mine supply, of 140 million ounces per year since the pandemic. Actually, it was much more than that. We thought it would be 140 million ounces last year, but it was actually 190 million ounces in the red yet last year. It was actually 256 million ounces in the red a couple years ago. That's why I say in the combined previous 3 years, we had a deficit of over 500 million ounces. So did someone mention silver squeeze? A short squeeze occurs when those who have short sold in an asset must quickly purchase the asset at market prices. Scarcity of the asset and market causes its price to rise rapidly, dragging in speculative buying and triggering further short covering. A short squeeze can become a chain reaction of buying, which can send the price of an asset exponentially higher. It's happened before. We had the Hunt brothers. By the way, rest in peace, Herbert Hunt. He died, he passed away early this month. I think 2 weeks ago, maybe. I think 2 weeks ago. But if you guys don't know what happened, those three brothers, billionaires, they squeezed the market. They cornered the market, bought up all the silver on the COMEX, exchanged it into physical, pushed the price up to the highest price it's ever been still till this day, right? So we're not going to go too deep into that. Because, you know, there's a lot. We still have to go over the second article. I guess we can cover this, though, because this is the end of this article. Okay. So it's happened before on silver. 1979, two brothers, Nelson and William Hunt. There was actually a third brother as well, Herbert Hunt, accumulated a large position of silver, effectively cornering the market. In a short space of time, buying from other traders and a wave of short covering caused silver to skyrocket from $6 in early 1979 to nearly $50 by January 1980. Did you hear what that said? We're talking about $6 to $50 within less than a year. 2 years to depletion, TD Securities. Quite colorfully put. At the current pace of demand growth, notes the broker, quote, based upon its 3-year CAGR, would deplete our estimates of the LBMA's free float in only 2 years, right? That's a big deal. If the U.S. Federal Reserve commences a rate-cutting cycle, buying activity typically associated with this cut could cut the time down to depletion to 1 year, right? It definitely will. Silver's already catching wind of this. So we are talking about something we could run dry literally within a year. Quote, this possesses a significant liquidity risk for silver markets and makes a legitimate case for a potential squeeze in silver markets on the horizon. So yeah, so now the question is, now we're into that second half of the video. I'll try to make it quick. So what are we going to do then? But what if I told you that we aren't talking about Earth? We're talking about the final frontier. That, my folks, is where we are looking to get our silver from and other metals. And we actually found a specific asteroid already. See, mining innovation could work, but there's only so much silver in the Earth's crust. So you're going to think, okay, well, what can we do? Take our own silver, right? I mean, they could confiscate our silver. Well, that still wouldn't do much. Well, Silver Slayer, they would never confiscate people's silver anyways. Well, they did before. No, they didn't. When? Actually, it was Executive Order 6814 by FDR in 1931. No, FDR confiscated people's gold in 1930 with the Executive Order 6102. No, yes, he did that. You're right. But a year later, he actually did the same thing with silver as well. And he had the same penalties. You give me all your gold or pay a $10,000 fine or 10 years imprisonment or both. Same thing with silver. Give me your silver, and if you don't, $10,000 fine, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars now, or 10 years imprisonment or both. But Slayer, what about the Hunt brothers? What did they do to them, right? Or if the government's so bad and evil, if the Federal Reserve is so, what did they do to them? They banned silver. No, they didn't. Silver's never been banned. Yes, they banned silver on the COMEX to stop the Hunt brothers. Silver Rule 7. Why do you think silver got chopped off at $50 all of a sudden? Because they banned it. They literally stopped. You could not buy silver anymore. They literally banned silver on the spot, made up a law on the spot called Silver Rule 7, stopping anyone from purchasing silver on the COMEX. You had to sell it. You had to sell it back to the Federal Reserve and just shut the whole thing down. I just want to throw a little story in there. But anyways, yeah. So this is our last hope to get silver. Modern day electronics depend on a steady supply of precious metals. Some companies think it could soon be cheaper and better for the environment to get them from space. I don't know about cheaper, but it would be more, I guess, I can't even say anything. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more, unconventional. It's going to be a lot harder. I mean, in every way. I guess the only benefit is that there is some out there. There's actually an asteroid called 16 Psyche that has up to $500 quintillion worth of precious metals on it, and that's the real number they said. NASA, they sent out a rover a couple of years ago to check out this asteroid. It will be arriving near Earth by the year 2026, and they are going to see if space mining is real using the final frontier, which it definitely will happen someday. I just don't think by next year. But the whole point is that they are already looking into it, and they've had teams for a while. So if they can mine silver from space, and it would become as common as an everyday rock in your backyard, then that would definitely be something interesting. But is that going to happen? When will it happen? How? Who's going to do it? Where is this going to happen? I mean, every question you could ask is up for debate. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, then please like the video. Please subscribe. If you're still listening to me talk, thanks. Oh, they mentioned the Psyche mission down here. Yeah, this is, I've been covering this for a long time. I didn't think they would actually have enough research to actually know the exact asteroid. I shouldn't have doubted them. But yeah, it's called the Psyche mission. With an asteroid that has a whole core planet. They said 2029. No. Oh, NASA will arrive at the target in 2020. Got you. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, I really do appreciate you for tuning in. Remember, folks, I sell silver. Well, Miles Franklin sells silver, and I connect you with them. So you can email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172. Yeah. It's a new number, I forget. So yeah, I also appreciate you for tuning in this long. Hopefully, if you send this video to someone that maybe doesn't understand silver yet or is doubting you or questioning you, you can relay this message to them, and hopefully I will have done a good enough job to now at least allow them to stop hating on you or doubting you, and hopefully maybe even crack maybe pique their interest into the world of precious metals, planting the seed at least. So yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.